course. But for now, as we move on, we have some words coming out of Iran, where the country has hailed the deceased supreme leader, Ali Ayatollah Khamenei, as an individual who preferred to live like a regular Iranian citizen. During a press conference in Tehran, the Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baqai stated that Khamenei stayed in his home and chose to be with his people until his last moments. Baqai condemned the US-Israeli airstrike that killed Khamenei, calling it an unjust act. He emphasized that history will remember Khamenei as a great leader who lived among his people. Let's take a listen into the Foreign Ministry statements.
Our supreme leader was living like a normal, average Iranian citizen. He was living in his home. You have to ask this question from the aggressors who dared to attack Iran and attack his compound. I think the history will judge him like a great commander who lived among his people, decided to be there, and it has many meanings. It is a meaningful death. He preferred to be with his people until the last minutes of his life, and he didn't leave his country, his home, his capital.
We have some more coming out from Tehran, where the country has called on the United Nations Security Council to take action to halt the ongoing conflict between Iran, Israel and the United States. Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baqai has also stated that the Security Council has a duty to intervene, emphasizing that no obstacles stand in its way except for its own will. Iran's plea comes amid escalating tensions in the region, urging the UN to step in and seek a resolution to the ongoing war. Ross Feingold joins us once again. I want to first of all start off with those words coming out of the ministry, describing the leader as a regular citizen, a humble figure who lived at home, and also emphasized that he, of course, died in the Iranian capital of Tehran. Is this narrative that the ministry is pushing, is it aimed at domestic unity, or is it aimed at shaping global perception?
Well, if it's aimed at shaping global perception, it's going to be a complete failure. This is not a person who was popular around the world. I mean, certainly there'll be people around the world who look at the U.S. and Israeli action as a typical resort to force that the U.S. has done, frankly, many times over the course of the last few decades or in the post-Cold War period. But people who oppose U.S. military action, they don't necessarily have a warm feeling towards the Iranian dictatorship. So this is probably just more aimed at their core supporters within the country. It's not even aimed at the entirety of the population. We know how many people have taken to the streets multiple times in recent years to protest against the regime. So it's almost like they have this warped sense of who they are and say such things when we're talking about somebody who was just a brutal dictator, had no hesitation to murder his own people or murder foreign citizens through the support of terrorist organizations. So internationally, and frankly, probably for most Iranians, they're going to think that this is just a bizarre statement to make. But again, there's the core supporters domestically, and they certainly do exist, that want to hear that kind of message at this time.
Indeed. Ross, and just moving on very briefly, Iran escalating diplomatically, appealing to the UNSC, of course, which the United States is a permanent member of. Is this a genuine call for de-escalation or just criticism of the United Nations itself, showing the weakness of the institution nowadays?
Well, certainly the United Nations is going to have very little influence over the decisions of the Trump administration. We know that's not a very strong relationship. We know how President Trump and his team feel about the United Nations. I would think that for Iran, this is a multi-pronged strategy. They're trying what they think is the best way to end the hostilities. So whether that's speaking to the United States indirectly through various interlocutors, public statements, or utilizing the UN platform, of course they want the United States and Israel to cease the attacks as quickly as possible, and that's because they're getting hit very hard, to be frank. So not a surprise that they would try to use the UN. But if the U.S. and Israel are going to cease hostilities, it's really unlikely it's going to be because of anything that transpires at the UN. It's going to be because the U.S. and Israel have decided that military goals have been achieved, and or Iran basically asks for peace and agrees to certain terms, such as inspections of their nuclear and other weapons programs.
Ross, do continue to be with us. We're moving on to further news. Coming out of Cyprus once again, the streets are deserted.